And thus, we are back again to another thrilling tale of the Kobold crew. And I wasn't going to mention it, but I'm still reeling over a certain picture that I was sent not even 5 seconds ago about a character from the new Wild Beyond the Witchlight book.
You should see some of the bullywug art in this book is fantastic. Some
I
of it is it's I mean when I describe it as art, it should truly be described as art.
There's a good bullywug pick in the Domains of Delight as well. There's like one really good one where it's like a horned frog with like the raised brow ridge. It's really cool too. Also, yeah, Domains of Delight. Is essentially a companion guide to Wild Beyond the Witchlight and is good for making your own little Feywild regions. It's like $8 on DM's Guild if you want to take a look at that. It's for charity. Do you like that, Steven?
It
I
must be
do. Now
hardballs.
you're making up for your sins.
There are no sins here. I don't know what you're
We're
referring
gonna
to.
hide that what you're talking about.
I don't know
It
what
doesn't
you're
matter.
referring to. Any
It doesn't matter.
case, I'm getting off topic. It's my own fault.
We've
So
been off topic since we started.
I know. In any case, last time for the kobolds, after exploring the frost giant tomb of Yarmut, you were intercepted by a frost giant noble woman who had come to claim what she believed was a token of her ancestors, to which she saw you all as vermin stealing what was rightfully hers. And though you tried to assuage her, it seems that she would not listen to any reason, and so she attacked you. And although she was strong and managed to take out Muerte with but a single blow, once or twice, you all managed to strike her down. And in doing so, you were helped by a wizard that you had met before, one Velin Harpel, a member of the Arcane Brotherhood, who had come to assist you and give you a proposition, should you hear her out. To which you did, and she mentioned that she was once part of an expedition team sent to Icewind Dale to find a lost city of the Netherese, a city called Yithrin, long ago lost to somewhere in the Reggae Glacier. However, it seems that there is only one way into this lost city. But in order to get there are a few things that she must gather first. A book called the Codicil of White, to which is located in a moving island on the sea of moving ice, as well as a family heirloom that she called a professor orb that she mentioned was stolen by one of her former colleagues, one Nas Lantomir, who had also chartered a boat on the sea of moving ice. You heard her out, and on deciding what to do next, she also mentioned that she had left during a commotion in Ten Towns. A Duergar had been captured by Ten Towns and interrogated. But as to what had happened and what information was gotten, she could not say, as she left shortly after. To which you all decided to investigate this, and are currently heading to Ten Towns. But before you could actually get there, you were waylaid by a blizzard. And while
Oh
you
yeah.
while you were taking stock of that, you leveled yourselves up to level 7. Did everyone already do the level ups? I believe most everyone has.
Yeah.
I just forgot that
I
we were
have,
getting
yes.
under the blizzard.
Yeah. All right. Awesome. All right. So, the blizzard lasts no more than 4 hours. To which, it thankfully is still fairly early day. It's about, I'd say, 11
We were
o'clock.
We were staying in this spot for somebody to do something with one of their skills.
Right.
Skinak or
What was
something.
that again? Remind me.
I don't remember.
Do you remember, Skinak?
Oh, I think it was infusion stuff, wasn't it?
That makes sense. It was something that took 8 hours.
Oh, actually, I
It
believe
was
you already
it
did
was
that.
the ice rune to
Oh, right.
That's right.
make the boots better. Yes, we did that.
That was it. Okay, so you took some extra time after the blizzard ended in order to carve the runes of ice onto the boots. That's what it was. Perfect. Excellent. Thank you, Mike. Excellent. Well, now that we have that out of the way, in that case, that would mean it would be around 4 o'clock in the afternoon, to your best knowledge. Let's see here.
Are we going to Targos or Bryn Shander? I think we were going to Targos.
I believe you're going to Targos. Do you have a specific goal for Targos?
I think we're just trying to figure out about the
See what we can see.
yeah,
Very good.
the trigger.
Excellent. Let me just... There we go. Okay, there we go. All right, so... You begin heading that direction. And as you do, you note that despite the fact that the blizzard has ended, there is still a very heavy snowfall in your current area. It is thankfully not very harsh weather, but it makes things more serene. For as much as it is deadly in the tundra, there are still moments of occasional beauty. And as you're going along the tundra, you do notice that there are several traveling animals. I think just with your passive perceptions, you would be able to make out that they are a wandering herd of elk that are currently making their way across the Shangorn River. You notice one leading the front is different than the others. It has a pair of golden, glowing antlers as it walks through the front. All the others seem to follow around it. It seems to be perhaps how to describe it. You wouldn't say a pack leader, as these types of animals don't really behave in that sort of way, but it does seem they're gathering around it for protection, perhaps. It's difficult to say. But they are making their way across, and you do have to stop for a minute to let them pass. Though Merte would certainly like to chew some up for sport. You have to rein in her bloodlust a little bit. But a few of them stop and stare at you as a moment of serene quiet. But they continue on.
Would we know what the golden antlers thing means? What kind of magic that is? Because it is glowing, apparently.
Sure. Go ahead and make either nature or religion checks.
I'm gonna do a religion check because that makes sense. If we don't know scales, you could just ask, right?
Yeah, I could ask them.
21, 12. Alright, it's 12. Scales, you've seen this a couple times before, although you're not quite sure what it means, although it is something that you've noticed. And as you've noticed it, Scales, you would have seen the ones that usually have these antlers behave a little bit more intelligently than the other elk, although you've never really seen too much of evidence of this. But you notice that they seem these lead elks, they do tend to take a sort of leadership role, in a sense, that the other elks seem to gather around them. But you don't know too much more than that. For Skanuk and Meepo, this is certainly a rare sight. What you're seeing here is an evidence of an awakened animal, but it's a rare mutation caused by said magic. It is not too uncommon for druids to mark some elk like this, acting as their eyes and ears while maintaining, or at least trying to maintain, some level of secrecy, while keeping people away, keeping locals away, just from sheer the mysticism of it. Thinking, it must be some sort of sacred animal, therefore we shouldn't attack it. Of course, some would still try, in which case they would get quite a shock, as they would be thoroughly trampled as the one with the glowing horns would direct the other elk to attack, which normally they don't unless they're provoked. By predators.
Skindak, I'd put that crossbow down for now.
Alright.
But we should be able to talk to him. Hello there.
You do watch.
Nice weather.
You do watch as the glowing antlered elk stops for but a moment, looks back, but does not say anything. It just keeps eye contact, specifically with Skinnock, as he took out the crossbow and is slowly putting it back, keeping an eye on him. You wait for a moment for a response back, but it does not give one. It simply stares at you, gives a snort, and continues walking away. Seems it wants to keep the illusion that it's maintaining. You assume.
Have a nice day.
The ears twitch a little bit, and you swear that it only slightly glances back, as if it wants to say something, but it guesses better of itself and keeps walking forward. And unless you stop them, they will continue on their way, out of sight.
Is there a benefit if we try to stop them? Do we want to ask them anything?
That's up to you.
I'm asking the group.
There's something that I might want to ask. Let me look. Before you go, do you happen to know Rionak?
That does get a response out of the lead elk again. Make a persuasion check, Meepo.
Persuasion.
$10. Where's my little dice? Hang on. Where did it go? Ah, there it is. Put it on the opposite side of my computer. Though it seems as if, for but a moment, it is going to say something. You see its mouth open, but then it closes again and it continues on its way.
Worth a try.
Did you have anything you wanted to do, Scales, before they go? Alright.
Is there something that you wanted to say to us, possibly?
To that you would hear the other elk say, Golden Horn, they are speaking with us. They have the gift. Perhaps we should stop and speak with them. We cannot trust them. It is too dangerous. But they have the gift. Surely they cannot be enemies.
How is there a way we could gain your trust? Perhaps. I didn't mean to butt in. I just overheard.
Perhaps. That all depends on you. Who is your master if you have one?
I've never really had a master. I've always tried to stay alone, but these other three found me and just kind of drug me along. They don't seem to answer to really anyone either.
The one elk that had stood out from the herd looks towards the Golden Horn. Then they do not serve the Frost Maiden. Surely we can trust them, Goldhorn.
I do, if it is any consolation, I do hear them throw out the name Eldath a lot.
That definitely gets a response from them. You see, they serve the Maiden of Stilled Waters. We can definitely trust them. Very well. The elk with golden horns turns back. Very well then. He speaks in common, to which you all can hear and understand. Do you have questions for I, servant of Eldath?
Oh, well, I'm a cleric of Eldath. I saw your horns and thought you had some connection to the druids and maybe one of the druids of Eldath. I have a debt I owe to Reenak, and I was just wondering if you knew how Reenak is doing.
If you are truly friends of Eldath, I suppose we can trust you. If you seek the one known as Reenak, she was located near the Evermelt, to the southeast of the Reged Glacier, to where the ice turns to water, the purest waters, that can heal most injuries. It is a safe haven in times such as these, where food will no longer grow where we once walked ages past. But she is on the move. I do not know where.
All right, that answers my question. Anybody else have any questions? I don't think there was anything particular we were looking for.
I'm good.
I will tell you. There was a foul smoke in the air coming from the mountains. It smells of man fire, melted metal, and evil. It stinks.
Which mountains did he indicate?
The ones down south over there?
He does jut towards the spine, yes. Something evil, as always, seems to be afoot these days in the Dale. But something worse is coming. I can feel it, and I think Reenak feels it as well.
Interesting. Is there any chance that has something to do with the big old explosion we made the other day?
That was you.
I mean-
And there is a bit of a cadence, or a bit of a gruffness to the voice.
Well,
Well,
we
you
were
know,
destroying an evil. Go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna say there was some pretty bad stuff there. You know, the metal and all that is probably a lot worse to have than.
No, hang on now. We did not destroy anything. We were fighting some mind-eating people, and they blew up their ship. I didn't, which we did not want to happen.
It scared many of the animals away from their homes, but it is good to at least hear that some measure of evil was destroyed. I apologize for overreacting. Thank you. He bows his horns. I have not had many people to trust lately. The 10-towners have been desperate, and have eaten some of my flock. And as well as the ragged tribesmen. But
Way to
I
scare some
cannot blame
people away
them.
from Angadu a while ago.
I cannot blame them. When all creatures need to eat. It is simply the way of nature.
Well, we're working on restoring peace to this place, so hopefully someday soon you can go back to your uh, old way of life.
Sorry, cord got stuck on my chair. Sorry for the noise. There we go. Okay. Sorry about that. I thank you, small one. My flock and I should be off now. We are heading towards the Mare de Walton. I hear there was a fellow worshipper of Eldath. A strange aquatic creature that I wish to meet. I wish you good day. It heads off in the direction of the mare.
Tell him I said hi.
It looks at you quizzically for a moment and nods its horns. I will do so. You have my word.
By the way, my name's Meepo Molo. You should know it.
Meepo. I will remember this name. I am known as Goldhorn. You will remember
Nice
my
meeting you,
name?
Goldhorn.
Yes. You will remember my name, and I will yours. And it nods its horns and continues on its way to the mare. And as it does, you travel for a few more hours, and the night begins to fall. Any preparations you're going to make? I assume a Lehman's tiny hut is in order?
I need to review what this actually does.
See, we've got, the normal, I guess, lean-to setup for anyone who can't, or anything that can't fit to the hut.
Of course. I think the only one who really, Murjay can fit because she counts as war creatures, if space-wise. And it can fit up to 10 creatures?
Yeah, 10 medium creatures.
10 medium creatures. So yeah, it would be able to fit all of you. The only thing that wouldn't be able to fit are the boats. The boat sleds.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, all of the people and animals would be able to fit in.
Excellent.
The Yeti tyke, of course, snuggles up to you. I almost called you Savage Scales. Sorry. I keep making gaffes. I made a gaff earlier when we tested out a new feature that Roll20 has by pulling. I pulled up to the tundra map where Savage died, and I was like, oh no, what have I done?
How to believe you've done this.
I know. But in doing so, we discovered that you can make circles now with the draw shape feature. You just go do circles. You don't have to hold Alt or anything. But if you hold Shift, it snaps to the grid. It's amazing.
Good stuff.
We'll have to test it when we actually get on an actual grid. But until then, the Yeti tyke will snuggle up with you, Scales. As you're the closest thing it has to a companion right now, as it has lost quite a few. Let's see here. Is there anything else anyone wants to do before going to bed?
I don't think Hawks has anything in particular that he's looking to do for the time being. So if there's anyone who's doing anything else that needs assistance, he'll gladly help with that. But
Two things I'd like to do with Scott.
Okay.
The first is to make a couple more acid vials with the alchemical drug.
Hmm.
And the
Alright.
second is to see if I can attach a sort of like attach a dagger to my arcane firearm as a sort of
Bayonet.
bootstrap bayonet.
Okay. I will say, I, I'll say this. Go ahead and make for me. It'll be somewhat simple if you're kind of just strapping as like a bayonet. Just go ahead and make either a tinker's tool check or a smith's tool check with either dex or intelligence, your choice.
Definitely. All right. So yeah, my thing is that this will do for now, and then maybe next time we can really stop somewhere. I might try and make a real proper one that's like a
Okay.
part hand axe or something.
Okay, well,
This is
in
just
that
like for the
case,
moment.
yeah, just go ahead and make a tinker's check then. Yeah, 16. Okay, yeah, easy enough to do. It doesn't take you very long, maybe 30 minutes at most to kind of like it's not too haphazard. It's sturdy enough, but like you figure like a couple stabs with it will dislodge it. But it's serviceable for now. So you have your arcane firearm with a little dagger bayonet for now. Alright, and of course I rolled a 6, so that means... okay. Okay. I see. Ba-ba-ba-ba.
It is very icy.
Is that another blizzard I see on the horizon?
I'm expecting so. He's laughing because it's true.
No, this isn't for the blizzard just yet. This is something else.
So for how many of those ice zombies come at us?
Let's see here. A 2 and a 4. Okay. You might actually... Okay. Well, first off... delightful. Okay. And then the second one... Interesting. Okay. Okay, this might actually... Okay, depending on how your travel goes, we'll see how this goes. Alright. So, you all fall asleep. Dreams are peaceful. You wake up. Something's different. Make a perception check, everyone.
Are our boats there?
We're not gonna have to murder to get those boats back.
Ow. 17, 18, 13. All right. So you take a look around. You think, oh no, did something missing? You kind of have that weird feeling that something's wrong. But everything's there. You have all your belongings. The only thing that you notice is that the Yeti Tyke is currently has taken a couple of the tents and is currently rolling around in them and like slashing at them. It seems to be playing with them and chewing on them.
That's less than ideal.
Kind of looks at you. Kind of chirps over to you, Scales.
I
Play?
can never remember.
You hear an Yeti.
Hey, little guy, what you doing with those?
Kind of looks at the ground for a minute, looks at the tents, looks back up at you. Eating? Playing?
Oh, you're hungry.
Yeah. Want food? Okay, I think I can, is everything okay? The little bush waddles up. Oh, that's unfortunate.
Hey, Bush. I'm sorry, I don't know your name.
Oh, it's Bean.
Bean. Nice to meet you. I'm Scales.
Oh, nice to meet you. Kind of holds out a branch.
I shake it delicately.
Oh, man. It's so nice when people are polite to me.
This Yeti tyke here is a little hungry. You wouldn't happen to have any good berries on you currently, would you?
Well, you guys have been eating up my berries pretty good. It's gonna... Hang on. Do I regret... Hang on, I gotta check. Sometimes I'll regrow some, sometimes I don't. Hang on. Let's roll. Huh.
17 I can play stuff.
As it turns out, I do in fact have... I got 3. But only 3 left.
May we have one for this tyke until we can get him some actual food?
Oh, sure, yeah. That's what I'm here for. It kind of scuttles over and, hey, little guy. And the Yeti type just looks up and, okay, there you go. Just kind of sets the berry on the ground, just scuttles over and goes behind you, Scales. This bush, by the way, is about the same size as you. Actually, no, it's about half your size. It's tiny size, not small. But the tyke does eat the berry, and its fangs are covered with this blue mess that just kind of like smears over its face, and it kind of grins at you with its blue stained teeth. Kind of cheers at you. Full. Thank you. I'm gonna play now, and he starts wrestling with the tents again.
Okay, so as long as you don't eat them, I guess we could always fix those.
It seems like it'll take some minor repairs, probably nothing too serious. He is very small, he can't do too much damage yet. Only when he gets older that might be a problem.
So, what's going on with the Yeti?
Oh, he was just hungry. Poor guy.
And he's still...
Playing. He's
Oh,
currently
okay. Is there a way we could get a toy for that Yeti tyke, Skinnock? Something that we don't use to survive?
Right.
Do we use these tents to survive anymore?
Probably
Good
might.
point. We might later.
I guess.
It might be helpful if a situation gets intense.
That's true.
There you
You said that joke, and all I heard was Bowser's snore.
I'm so sorry.
No, it was well timed on his part.
Yep. Just like the perfect reaction was.
There it is again.
Hmm.
Here, maybe I need to bump myself down a tiny bit. Just a smidgen. There.
Well, I've got some torn clothes and maybe I could like make a ball.
Do you have that spell that...
What?
Do you have a spell for it?
Oh, no. I got needle and thread though.
That'll work.
I assume that's in the Tinker's tools at least. If not, I can make one.
Yeah, this would definitely fall under the purview of Tinker's tools, for like small repairs or leather crafters, but Tinker's tools will be good for you because you have proficiency in that. So if you'd like to, you can make a Tinker's tool check to try and repair some of the damage.
Yeah. Not to repair the damage, but to make like a ball, sort of like, I guess like a spare patch of leather around like a bundle of the tattered clothes I have in my inventory for some reason. Oh, I guess we stole from the undead at some point.
You probably would have, yeah. Okay, yeah, sure. I'll say, this will be a very easy check. Just go ahead and make a Tinker's tool check using your intelligence.
Assume we. I remember we like took those for a reason.
Yes, I believe you did. Just to have some extra stuff. 20. Okay, easy enough. You get into a nice little bowl that is good for whatever purpose you desire, within reason.
Now the Yeti has a ball.
Which he certainly seems to be taking to. As he starts like punting it around with his head, as he's just headbutting it constantly. He even gets into the air a couple times. And it seems that your makeshift toy seems to be working for now.
Excellent.
And with that sufficient distraction, are you all ready to move on?
Indeed.
Alrighty. So, let's see how far you need to go. Not very far. You might actually get to 10 towns before it, depending on how much time you spend there. Alright, so, you manage to get to 10 towns at making good time, getting there right before noon, you assume. And currently, it seems that people are... You remember that the last time you were here, everything seemed to be in a bit of a sad state. And this time, it seems that some people appear to be more agitated than usual. You hear mutterings amongst the townsfolk. Whispers and rumors of invisible men storming into their towns, taking their children. Or at least you think, oh, well, this is terrible. But no, they're just... It's one of those gossips that's just saying nonsense. Fear-mongering, you assume. Saying that it might happen, not that it has happened. At the very least, it seems that this capture of this dwarf, or these Duergar, has gotten the populace into a bit of a tizzy. And so you continue on. Is there anything in particular that you wish to do in Targos? First, at least.
I can think of personally. What about you all?
I think we were just gonna talk to the leader, weren't we?
Ask some questions about the Dwergar recently.
Yeah.
Well, you remember, all of you would know that the speaker for Targos is one Nerth Maxildanar. You know this because you had heard from one of the members of Torga's guild that Nerth had ties to the Zentarum. You also encountered his... how to describe it? He's really a mercenary, but really he's the leader of the militia in Targos at the moment. The tiefling named Scath, who you had conversation with before, who he was the one who had given you the optional task of not solving Tourmaline's problem, to which that request was ignored.
Alright.
But you know, you know that the speaker can be found at the Luskan Arms, in the upper room of the main inn in Targos. That's where you first met Scath, actually.
Ganuk is the head here.
If Nebo is the head, we can pretend to be a different giant.
Right, that's true.
I mean, the giant has a peg leg now, or a mechanical leg now, so...
That's true.
Yeah? All right, I'm willing to do it.
If you don't mind, I think I would prefer that.
All right.
All right. So, Meepo, you're the head again. You do get a couple looks from the townsfolk. There's a moment of recognition and then kind of a tilt to the head. It's like, oh wait, they kind of get pointing fingers. Oh, those are the ones who saved the explorer. You see some of them seem to have recognized you, but you're thinking to yourselves, what explorer? And then you remember you saved a particular scout by the name, whose name is escaping me. Hang on one second. A scout by the name of Garrett Velerin, the one who you saved on Kelvin's cairn. He said that he lived in Targos. So it seems that you were recognized for that. It seems that word has spread of your deeds. Matches the description. A couple of them whisper like, "Oh yeah, matches the description, all right." I swear I've seen someone like that before, but now I had a different face. No, it can't be the same person. Nah, okay, they kind of like go back to their business.
There are five different giants of Eldath, and they're all related.
Yeah, there is some doubt being like, well, come on, who else is that tall? And he's paused. Goliath, but like Goliaths don't come into 10 towns. Like there's just arguments as you're walking by. But you continue forward, and as you do, you eventually do come to the Luskan Arms. You walk inside, and of course are met with the very despondent and very sad-looking bartender.
Oh, yeah.
Welcome to Luskan Arms. Would you like some soup? I can get you some soup if you want, or I can get you some ale. That's what you want.
Are you doing all right?
No, I'm not.
Is there something I can do to help you?
He thinks for a minute, cleaning a glass, blank eyes staring to the side. No, just shakes his head and goes back to what he's doing.
Are you sure? You look like you had something there for a minute.
Pauses, thinks for a minute. The problem I have can't be solved with other people's help.
I'll at least listen to you if you want.
That's a mistake! You hear from someone on the opposite side of the bar. Well, it all started when I was 6. And he just starts going into this long diatribe. And at any point, any one of the rest of you can tap onto Meepo to go somewhere else if you wish. Because otherwise, he'll just tell you about the time when his best friend and his traveling companion Wolfie was killed, his family dog. And he just keeps going on about it, the misfortunes of his family and this long list of failures as his wanting to get into Bard College but dropping out because he was told he was tone deaf. And the list of constant failures and depression just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. It is very hard to listen to.
Miko's doing her best.
Go and make a charisma check for me, Meepo. Because he does notice that you're paying attention to listening.
A charisma check, you said?
Charisma check, yeah.
Charisma.
19. Wow, you're still awake. Many people left by the time I told them about the time that I flunked out of Bard College for being tone deaf. You're really nice.
Well, I do my best. You know...
Here, have
I
a
think-
soup on the house, and just kind of
Oh,
puts forth. You don't know where the soup came from, but it's there.
thank you. I'm gonna drink it
All right.
carefully.
All right, it's a little cold, but it's not too. You don't think it's probably been like maybe like someone forgot their order or someone who stepped on a bill, probably. And so like you
Or
didn't want
someone
it to
who
go to
left
waste.
while he was talking.
Yeah, probably. Now that you think about it, that's probably what happened. And so you think, oh yeah, so you just drink it. It's pretty good. It's just some knucklehead trout stew. It's very, very meaty, very savory, and the meat as you bite into it is very stringy, but it is filling.
Well, thank you very much. I think I'll see you around. Do you know where the leader of the town is? The town leader?
Oh yeah, Mr. Neth. He's he's okay really, but he always spends his time upstairs on the second floor. Oh, sorry, I dropped something, and he just kind of bends down, picks it up. Seems that he dropped like a spoon.
Well, I'll see you around.
Okay. Have a nice day. And
You
there's a
too.
small smile on his face as you leave. You've done a good deed this day, Meepo.
Okay. I'm going to direct Hawks to go up the stairs.
We go.
Right. So stairs, yeah? Stairs are neat when you're stacked. If you wouldn't mind, we're going to do something that we haven't done in a while. I'd like you all to make acrobatics checks for me, please, as you all try and balance yourselves up the stairs.
Would the coat give us advantage?
It would, because it's a specific kind of coat, so you will get advantage.
You have to ask. The boots give me ignoring difficult terrain while walking.
Good. I will say that you do not need to make the check. Instead, that will lower the DC for the others. All right, 10, 17.
That advantage really saved you from there. I'm just gonna.
It really did. It really did. Ooh, very
And
nice.
Meepo too.
Steady as ice.
Indeed. In fact, despite the loss of your leg, Hawks, it seems like the the fine kobold bootleg handicraft is really showing its potential. As you're walking up the stairs, it almost seems like you never lost your leg at all. And with the additional magic of the rune, man, it just feels so natural. And as you're walking up, the rest of you try and balance, and you almost, Meepo, you almost kind of topple over because you were expecting a little bit more difficulty, a bit more looseness because of Hawks's leg issue, but you overcorrect a little bit, but you're able to keep balance, and then the rest of you do as well. You follow suit. You managed to walk up a full set of stairs without falling over. Congratulations.
An achievement for all of Kobold's kind.
Indeed. As you're walking up to the second floor, you do notice that the decor here it's a lot nicer than the first floors. You see tapestries and statues that look quite old. In fact, just from your discerning eye, Skanok, maybe at least 200 years. You, being of course a native Ten-Towner, you notice that a lot of this reflects Luskan as it was built in the years before its decline. Luskan being the same city that the Arcane Brotherhood is from, the city of sails. So there's quite a lot of iconography of ocean-based creatures and sailing ships. The inn, of course, it's very hard to polish a very old building, however, as while the walls are sturdy, the rotten floorboards creak as you walk up the stairs, and there is a very cold draft coming up. And of course, as you're walking by, you do notice a rat scurry between your legs, Hawks. And just as the rat scurries past you, you feel something else slip under your cloak. You hear a hissing of a snake and a fluttering sound. You look down, and do you see a snake? Very, very kind of chubby looking snake, honestly. but its scales are a bright yellowish green color, banded with brownish black. Its two beady black eyes stare up at you as you see a pair of draconic looking wings, or bat like wings, open up from its back. And it gives a little hiss at you, but it scurries after the rat.
Sounds like it might have been someone's familiar. Ah, that's gonna be bad.
Yeah, you of course hear an eventual struggle as you hear the squeak of terror of a rat and a silenced squeak following shortly after. It seems like the snake got its prey. Meepo, at that point, you would see the snake flitter into a room on the far side of the hallway that you're now walking through. The door is ajar, and you hear the sound of muffled voices coming from the room.
Do we want to try to stealth?
I mean, they probably know we're here.
That's true.
All right. Do you wish to stealth? The floorboards are
That's
pretty
up
creaky.
to Hawks, I guess.
Well, sure, we might as well try.
All right. The DC is a bit higher than normal because of the squeaky floorboards, so go ahead and make stealth checks for me, everyone.
I always have to double check my runes to see if any of them actually give me. No, that doesn't. That doesn't. This, no, that's. I need to just write a little note card of which things I get, so I'll have disadvantage because of my armor. Too.
Oh no.
Oh, yeah, you said the DC was higher, not disadvantage.
Yeah. Okay, well, as you're walking forward, Hawks, because of your preoccupied nature of the horrible crunching sound that you're hearing from behind you, no doubt from the snake, you miss a rotting floorboard. There is a crunch, and the sound echoes slightly throughout the upper floor.
Well, at this point, it's not worth firing anymore. We'll just walk in.
Yep, fair enough.
The voice is quiet. And then you hear a familiar voice speak up. "Oh, come on then, don't be shy. Come on in. You have a guest, speaker." Alright, you guys walk forward. And as you do, you see a very well-furnished room. As well-furnished as it can be, given the decor. A roaring hearth sits by a very heavily furnished and fleshed out dining table, filled with meats and breads and wine.
What's Targos' sacrifice?
Targos is the human sacrifice as well. The main human sacrifices are Targos, Bryn Shander, and East Haven. And given his connection to the Zentarum, you imagine he might not have to look towards his populace, perhaps. But you enter the room, and seated in a chair to the far eastern corner of the room, you see a very heavily armored Scath looking in your direction, and a smile crosses his face. "Oh, I've met someone like you before. You're not the same one I met. Same size, though. Can't mistake that." I'd like everyone to make a group deception check for me, please.
Now, this is one that I do have advantage on for one of my runes. No. Yes. Yes.
Okay, 14, 5, 17. Excellent.
+9.
Mm-hmm. Not 20. That's 2 successes right there. Yeah, right. Must have a cousin. You two related? Dude, there are multiple giants of Eldath running around.
You could say that, yeah. We're not exactly related, but there are multiples.
Do you know what else is also running around? A second voice reaches your ears, Meepo. You turn to the other corner of the room, and you see a middle-aged man, slightly graying hair, but mostly very thick, slick-backed black hair. Bit of a goatee and a crooked brow and nose. A slight smile crosses his face as he turns to your direction. In his one hand, he holds a rat and is dangling it above his cage filled with 2 other flying snakes, one with red scales, one with blue scales. And the one that you had seen before with the green scales flutters back into the room very slowly, clearly still digesting its meal. Like, ah, good girl. I knew I could count on you to rule out the infestation. Excellent. Kind of slithers up his leg into his arm and he scritches under the neck. Back in you go. And he puts the rat into the cage and the 2 snakes that had not been fed start to fight over it. He closes the cage lid and dusts his hands and gets a better look at you. What else I've heard roaming around are bands of kobolds. Tourmaline seems to be full of them nowadays, so it's not too surprising. But I've heard some things through the grapevine of some recent band of kobolds doing some good deeds recently. Seems to be a lot of do-gooders and plain heroes, really, roaming around.
That's what I came here for. To kind of perk up people's spirits and hopefully get people moving towards peace.
Yes, no doubt, no doubt. I'd like to know why you're here, though. I was having a very enlightening conversation with the leader of my militia. Isn't that right, Mr. Scath? You know it, sir? Okay. Scath kind of gives a jut with his horns and kind of gives a little wink with his and points his fingers at him. Any particular reason you've come to visit the Speaker of Targos?
Well, I've heard a bit about some Drugar that were recently captured. You know anything about that?
Oh, I certainly do. I have sources that have told me such things. I hear they caught the spy near Lonelywood. Duergar had apparently been scouting around the forest for signs of a substance called Chardolin. Would you know anything about that?
I mean, I've heard of it.
Quite a few people have heard of the substance. Terrible, terrible stuff, really. Corrupts the mind, as it were. Kind of steeples his fingers and kind of gives you a better look. You say that you've come to ease minds and help the troubled. I suppose you consider yourself the hero type, then. Would I be correct?
Some of the giants of Eldath consider themselves that way, but I myself am just here to do Eldath's work.
I see. Pacifist, then. Well, I have no need for pacifists in my midst, so good day. He kind of waves you off.
I mean, I may be a pacifist in the most cases, but there are certain times when a little bit more action is necessary to do Eldath's work.
Kind of gives you a side glance.
I'm not your typical Eldath follower.
Make a persuasion check for me, Meebo. With advantage. He is going to make an insight check. Obviously, you're not lying, but
Right, I'm basically saying I'm willing to help with things and that I'm not the only one doing it.
yeah, he's trying to get more of a read on you, which he doesn't get too much of one. So he can only really take you at face value. I suppose you're not. Well, if you're actually going to help, I'm in need of some warriors. Now, from what I've heard of the Giant of Eldath, would you consider yourself a Giant of Eldath? As it appears there's been multiple sightings of ones with different personalities. Which one are you, I wonder?
Well, it's not like it matters if I'm helping out in the long run, does it?
It doesn't, but a task that needs to be done. What needs to be done? And he will sit in his chair, kind of gesture, gives a kind of a flick of his wrist towards Scath, as if that signifies something, and Scath will like, oh, right. And he kind of takes a log of wood that had been sitting in the corner and starts putting it near the hearth and kind of stoking it. What needs to be done requires many hands. I assume you can gather your other brethren for such a task?
I think I can, yeah.
Good. Then what I am about to say does not leave this room. Close that door.
Then how am I gonna gather the other brethren if I can't tell them?
Are they standing around waiting by my door, waiting to come out of the woodworks?
Well, you said it doesn't leave the room. How am I supposed to tell them later?
A fair point. You obviously need to converse with your comrades about such a thing.
Alright.
But it does
I was
not...
just making sure that was okay.
What I'm specifically referring to is that the populace does not know. I do not need a mass panic. They're scared enough as it is, as you can...
I don't
clearly
need an ass
tell.
to panic either, so I think we're aligned on that.
Good. Then please shut the door.
I walk over to the door and tap Scales to shut the door.
Alright, Scales. You're not used to this. I'd like you to make a sleight of hand check for me. Because you're new to the stack.
Welcome to the deep end.
Okay. It takes you 3 minutes to find the door handle.
This rheumatism, I tell you, it makes things harder.
I'm finding it very hard to take you seriously on your offer. But I will relay it nonetheless, because this needs to be done. But eventually you do find it, Scales, and you close the door. As I said, Duergar have been snooping around Ten Towns and the Dales because they are looking for Chardalin. These invisible enemies walk among us. We've seen their bootprints in the snow. And now we know what the result of their efforts are. What my spies have told me is that the last words the Duergar said before he offed himself is that our doom comes on dragon's wings. At first, we were confused. We at first thought he was referring to our Voyager race. Before he offed
That was the
himself.
first thing that came to my mind.
Yes, but the White Worm doesn't deal with anyone but herself, as you I no doubt you're clearly aware of. We have a sort of understanding. We don't bother her, and she does not bother us. Although who knows how long that might last for. Dragons being what they are. But in any case, when we asked if what they were referring to the White Worm, they simply laughed. And they said no. Before they did the deed and shut out any more information they could give us, all they said was that one Zardarok Sunblight would be the new ruler of the Dale. and that his children creation would be our destruction. Since then, my spies have been wandering the Dale in search of any more information of this Zardarok Sunblight.
Does Zardarok sound like a dwarvish name?
It does, actually. You know Dwarvish, don't you, Meepo?
Mm-hmm.
Then yes, that is definitely a dwarven name for sure. Apparently, from what I've come to understand, he does in fact aim to conquer the Dale, as if we don't have enough problems with the Frost Maiden and her curse. But no, now we have this to contend with as well. It is a terrible time to be in the Dale, I'll tell you. So, for the good of 10 towns, would you penetrate this Duergar fortress, slay this evil warlord, and destroy this terrible weapon? We do know where the fortress is, at least.
I think I can do something about it. And I know my friends can.
Good. So then you accept.
For the peace of 10 towns, yes.
You see him kind of give a slight wry smile and kind of looks towards Scath, who smiles in turn and nods. Very good. Then we are in your debt, child of Eldath. Go forth then, and do whatever it is you do. Kind of gives a wave and kind of gestures towards Scath, who's like, "Oh, right." And you kind of
I am gonna need the directions to the fortress.
Oh, of course, that I can easily give you. And for that, you will kind of mark something on a piece of paper. Let's see here. Uh-oh. My computer's freezing. Oh, I need to refresh Roll20. 1 second. I'm gonna, because I need to Roll20 so I can pinpoint on the Icewind Dale map where the Sunblight Fortress is.
Are you still streaming?
I am, yeah. This is on the laptop, not the main computer.
Right.
But it is having some problems. Oh, page unresponsive. Gosh darn it. All right, you know what? Hang on. I can still make marks on the using my regular. Hang on. I can do this. Hang on. I can fix this. The fortress is where this purple mark is down here. You can see that.
Aha.
And I need some text too. And of course, we're going to have this problem where text needs to be visible, so let's see here. Red text, black background. Oof. God, that is awful. Just a little bit smaller. Alright, there we go. Okay, and I need a black shape. Black filling. Set that to the back. Rather, this to the front. If you could... Hang on. Gosh, blur it. Sorry, this is me. Come on.
I'm sure the streamers are enjoying this.
I'm sure they are.
It's a shared pain that people who have dealt with computers all can understand.
I can't actually
It's
send
like
it.
I want it to do this, but it will not do what I want it to do.
It's like...
What did you do with Nangajuk spell?
I didn't do anything with it. It should still be there.
No, I mean, what did you do to make that happen?
Well, because I can't take it to front on the player side. I have to be on the GM side. Erg! You know what? You can see the purple. For now, we're just gonna... To save on time.
Fair enough.
So he marks... That's where it is. It's right there.
Okay.
Of course, it's not good that the laptop is having trouble with that because I need that for the DM side of things. So that's not good. But in any case, he shows you where you need to go. Do you have any other questions that you'd like to ask before you head out?
Anybody have any questions?
Do you know what this dragon thing is?
Oh, right. Do you know what the dragon is? Anything about that, or do you just have any even guesses?
I can only assume it's some sort of creation. Obviously, whatever chardon they've been gathering is whatever this is for.
So they're making like a dragon-shaped golem out of chardolin?
Perhaps. We're not able to gather too much information, unfortunately.
Sounds like loads of fun.
Although I imagine if this Zardarok Sunblight is truly wishes to claim the Dale as his own, he clearly must have a sizable force behind him, because otherwise, 10 Towns is a formidable place. We have, despite how many people we've lost, Bryn Shander, Targos, and Easthaven are still major sites. Would not be taken down very easily, even with an army. We're nowhere near the place such as Waterdeep or Neverwinter, but we can hold our own. 10 Towners are
Well,
strong
let's
folk.
hope it doesn't come to that. We'll try to do our best to prevent anything from getting further than what it's already at.
Fair enough.
You have enough troubles of your own right now.
I certainly do. Such as people barging in on important conversations, so if you don't mind, he kind of gestures towards the door.
Fair enough. I was just told you were up here and had to talk with you. Alright, I will see you once we finish this deal.
Very well. I wish you luck, child of Eldath. Kind of gives a nod and gestures. That was a very, very curt wave.
I'm going to tap Skanuk's arm to try to get him to open the door.
Alright, Skanuk.
Or not absolutely.
Sleight of hand with advantage because you've been here longer. $19. Alright. Bit of an easier task for you.
It has like a little peephole, like there's like a breast pocket on the coat, and like disguised in that is
Like just for easy
you can actually
access.
see out. No one else can. There's no others, but
Yeah, just for easy access for Skinnock's eyes only.
Yep.
That means Skanuk is always watching things that are going on and like, aside from the blind sight, Hawks can't see anything. And then, Scales is just in the dark, just sitting there going,
Man. Alright, so you venture back outside.
poof, old.
And as you start kind of like wandering or like to whatever you decide to do next, you actually see a familiar face. Hey, it's you. And you look
Oh, hello.
look to your side, and you see Garrett, the man that you saved from the mountain. Oh, you finally arrived.
Let's not, talk about my friends. We're here in
Oh.
disguise, so you can talk to me, it's fine, just, we're trying to keep on the down low here.
Yeah, sorry. It's just I have good eyes, so I recognized your. Well, despite my failures, I am a good scout for a reason. I recognize.
I understand that. I don't mind. I just want to make sure you know we're here in disguise for a reason.
Of course. But before you leave, perhaps I can convince you to stop by my house and get some supplies before you leave.
Oh, that sounds wonderful. I wasn't sure we were gonna get anything from here.
No, of course. Why? Are you doing something important?
We've been tasked with something a bit difficult. You know those Durgar you were seeing up on the mountain up there?
He kind of
We've-
gets a sour look. Yes, I do remember.
We've got a little bit more dealings with them.
I
I'm
see.
expecting to be underground a bit here.
I wish you luck, but there's no need for that. I wish you luck when I can give you some help. Like I said, follow me. I'll show you to where myself and my partner live.
All right, let's go.
I kind of slowly shuffle in that direction. And it's a very humble abode. Clearly, for just a small, like a small family, perhaps. It's very, very modest. But there is, despite the small accommodations, there is a harness for a large dog team, clearly. And you see Boy, the wolf, the sled dog, kind of like bound up to you and give you a big kiss on your snoot. Meepo kind of jumps up and kind of gives you a look.
Do we have to make a check?
No, I'm not gonna do that for this. It would make sense, but
Okay.
I'm gonna say Garrett stops him before he can like really push you down. Like, boy, no. We talked about this, boy. You can't do that to people. Sorry, he's a good boy, but
He is a good boy. It's a little dangerous.
Right. I'm sure you want to keep your disguise.
I mean, if we're inside, it shouldn't be a problem.
Well, Keegan, my partner,
Loose
he's
lips.
What? Yeah, I
right.
love the man, but he is such a gossip. Anyway, come on in, and you go inside, and there's another man inside, darker skin, kind of hair that kind of hangs down a little bit. You can see he's currently like whittling some wood. Appears to be a little figurine of a walrus with the words "Big Love" carved into a small little wooden plaque that the flippers are holding. Hello, Garrett. Is this Yes, Keegan. This is the one who rescued me. Oh, thank you so much. Oh man, Garrett means a lot to me. I gotta shake you by the hand. He kind of goes out for a handshake.
Tap out the appropriate person to reach their hand out.
All right, who would that be?
Which hand is he reaching out?
Let's see here. Okay, who's on which side? Meepo and
Canuck's on the left, I think, because the breast pocket.
Canuck's on the left. So actually, the appropriate hand would be Scales.
Scales. I'm gonna like reticently tap Scales.
All right, Scales.
I will like try to whisper guidance to him from my vantage point.
Sure. Go ahead and make a sleight of hand with advantage.
You don't have to grab his hand, just hold it out and he will grab it for you.
Yes.
Excellent. All right, perfect. Hang on.
Is this going to be a joke that Scales can't do the...
Well, no, now that my Roll20 was back up, I was trying to fix the issue, but I seem to have made the issue worse somehow.
Oh, hooray. You mean with the map?
Yes.
Ah.
I am a fool.
Nah, you're fine. Deal with it later.
But it's acting up. Continue though. Sorry. Sorry, I'm a mess. You reach out for the hand, Scales, and you're a bit sturdier this time. Or sorry, you're steadier this time. You manage to shake the hand without too much issue, without him suspecting a thing, and not needing to make any group deception checks to convince him of your very obvious human nature, clearly.
Dragonborn.
Sorry, very obvious dragonborn nature. I apologize.
Yes, we are totally a medium creature.
Yep, totally. Bordering large. Yeah, thank you. I was actually, kind of thinking of like what I would give you as a reward. Kind of looks around. Here, you can have this actually. Sure, this will sell you a nice price. He gives you 4 skirmisher and like wooden card figurines, but worth 10 gold pieces each, you imagine.
Okay. I'll have Skinnock grab that.
Alright, fair enough. You kind of scoop it up with your other arms, and you kind of shovel it into a bag. But no, that's very kind of you, Keegan. Right, I promised you supplies. What do you really need before you head out? I'll give you food, I can give you tents, I can give you...
You have patents? Rope?
I got plenty of rope, I got plenty of that. Sure, I can give you about 300 feet of rope if you need it.
That's a good number.
Yeah, it's a bit from my old stock, so it'll be a hassle to carry around, but it's what I can give you. I can also give you about...
Well, I've got a sled.
Oh, that's right, you did have a sled, so that shouldn't be too much of a problem. I can give you 15 pythons.
15 patents will do.
Alright.
Uh,
Easy enough.
Let's see. Rope, patents. Anything else, guys?
Ah, yes, food.
Alright, you got any rations or anything?
Oh, rations. Sure, I got quite a few of those actually. Let's see. How much do I have here? How much can I spare? I can spare 7 rations.
That's enough for now. You can always hunt on the way down.
Yeah, I can always hunt for some more. Shouldn't be a problem. Alright, you got
Oh,
food?
and if you do see the herd elk with the golden horned elk leading it, I'd leave those ones alone.
Kind of thinks for a minute. I've seen that.
There's a connection with Eldath there, so
And it gives a wide eye. I see. Well, I certainly won't be messing with that. Thank you for the warning. Anything else I can get you before you leave? Boy, stop
can't-
knocking that over. Sorry.
I can't think of anything off the top of my head.
Yeah, sorry for the noise as well. All the dogs snoring and all. You know.
I understand.
Oh, see, there's Edward. Man, that he has a bit of a nostril problem, unfortunately. Trying to get it fixed. Kind of pats his leg. Like, I think of us like I could give you. Do you need any oil, perhaps? Oil for lanterns, or
I don't think it would be a problem if we had some extra oil.
it depends on if you need lanterns or torches lit. I can spare you. Actually, I think I can give you a full barrel of oil. Now I think about it.
I'll take it.
I
We're not
can
using it
feel,
for
the
lanterns, by the way.
potential-
That's
I
gonna be
can
something
feel-
else.
Yeah, I said I was just gonna say I can feel the potential glee coming from Skinnock.
Yeah, I'm like tapping Skinnock to stop him from shaking.
There's just like this, you know. It's like
Vibration.
the normal mortal eye can't hear it, but there's just a.
I'm like, you're gonna knock me over, Skinnock.
I think that's about all I can spare, though. But of course, I think it's more
That's-
than enough for the one who rescued me.
More than enough. I think that's plenty. Thank you very much. So, what time is it outside?
Right now, it's not too late right now. You guys haven't been in town for that long. I'd say it's still early-ish afternoon.
Okay.
All right, well, I suppose you best be off then. I wish you luck. I kind of holds out a hand.
Alright, thank you very much. I tap Skinnock.
And so,
All right.
buddy,
All right, you reach out your hand, and of course, like, he kind of like stops for a minute. Right, kind of pulls out his other hand to shake for yours, Skinnock. Well, blessings of Eldath on you. Kind of gives you a nod and a wink.
And blessings of Eldath on you too.
Thank you again for saving my guard, Keegan says in the corner. Yeah, he kind of pats Keegan on the shoulder. You've done a lot for us. We won't forget it. If you need anything in the future as well, don't be a stranger. Stop by.
Alright, well, you keep out of trouble now.
You as well. You as well.
I'll try.
All right.
A little bit.
All right, and you exit. And now you have filled up with supplies. Do you wish to head out?
I think that's a good idea.
All right.
Did somebody write down the rations? I can do that on my sheet.
oh yeah, probably will do.
Ah,
Well, that's right. You do still have the anvil on 40-foot chain. I forgot about that.
Oh,
I forgot
yeah.
The party alert.
there's that.
And I still have the giant's battle axe too.
True. That.
Do we want to sell those?
Yeah, there might be a couple of things to sell. I have the white dragon scale to sell potentially. I have or to make something out of.
Argos is a good enough spot to sell some of that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
As you leave the house, just the dog snoring somehow gets louder as you leave.
There's a lumber mill next door.
Oh yeah. You just and like in the background. Sounds suspiciously like a dog snoring. Don't know why. It's very strange. All right, let me see here. Since you've been here the longest, Skinlock, let me see here. Is there a good place? Ah, you do know there is a general store called Triglio in town. You know that it takes its name from one of the shanties that the Fishers of Targo sing when they are hard at work. Store's proprietor, the proprietor actually. You've done business with him a couple times selling your scrap. He was Justin Hunray, a human commoner. If there's any place to sell, probably be there.
And Skinnock is directing us towards that.
If he so wishes.
Yep.
All right. So you head over in that direction. Let's see here. The building itself, very much like the rest of Targos, is very old and showing its Luskan roots. The wood itself seems to be parts of it are carved from driftwood, but has been coated in lacquer so that it isn't affected too harshly by the cold weather. You head on inside, and you see the proprietor. He's a very scarecrow-looking fellow, very gangly, scrawny guy. You notice that he is, in fact, missing a hand. You would know, Skinnock, that he lost it in a collision with a boat from Tourmaline. I told you this story one time. Probably one of the only few people you were able to actually converse with who didn't see you as vermin. He kind of looks up at you. Hey, welcome to Triglios. Anything I can help you with? General store, food, supplies, or are you looking to barter? Sell?
I'm looking to sell some things. Got some nice pieces here. Outside, I've got to show you some of it. It's a bit tough to bring inside.
Oh, all right. I'm not used to bigger orders. I usually go to Torgus for that, but maybe I can get some. Maybe I can contact her. Sure. Let's see what you've got. All right. Kind of goes outside.
Just show the anvil, at least to start with.
Oh. That is quite large.
If you can't take it, we can always find somewhere else. I
No,
just
no, no,
thought
no, no, no,
this
no,
would
no,
be a
no, 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 no. He kind of like just puts a finger.
accidentally bartering.
No, 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 no. I would be interested in this. I would definitely need some help. I need to send out where to. I wouldn't. Okay, to be honest with you, I wouldn't be able to pay you right away. I would need to enlist some people to fully articulate how much it would be worth. I could really use a lot of the extra scrap metal, honestly. I can give you an estimate, but I don't know if that would be completely correct. I can. All right, so okay, so there's this giant anvil. There's the ridiculously large sword. I don't even know how you carried that.
A lot of work.
Anything else?
Strong legs.
Right. It kind of looks at you up and down. No, I could believe it. Alright, so, probably in the ballpark of maybe 200 gold just for scrap metal alone? Like for the sword and the anvil?
The axe and the anvil.
Sorry, the axe and the anvil. Sorry, it looked like a sword from the angle. Sorry. Like I said, need an appraiser.
Well, 200 gold sounds like quite a bit. I'm gonna kind of tap Skanuk and kind of like scratch at my neck and like look down. Like I'm thinking about it, and like kind of glance down at Skanuk to see what he thinks.
200 gold for an anvil and an axe. I mean, considering it has to be like broken down and everything, that's not terrible.
So you're giving like an okay.
Yeah, like does it sound?
Yeah, I'm gonna make an insight check on him.
Sure, make insight checks.
I would probably ask.
It should not have been an advantage, but it's still good.
I mean, I guess I would be helping.
Well, there's that too. Plus, you've dealt with this person before, even though they can't see you, so you know them well enough. They're being forthright with you. There's a lot of labor involved. That'll be part of this.
Scales.
Yeah, it's hard to read. Too jittery to get a read on me to see if he's lying or not. You just know he's jittery. But that's in the cold. You don't know. With natural 20 though, he's being as fair as he can because it is still scrap metal. And because of how much there is, he's giving you a lot. But given, of course, it's probably like seeing some nicks and scratches. Like some of it might have some of it's like maybe gone beyond its usefulness. But from what he can salvage, it's probably a fair deal.
Okay. Well, I think. How does this sound? I'll leave it here with you. You get it appraised, and then when I come back into town, I'll drop by and see what you think about it. And we'll deal with the actual amount later. We'll put down 200 gold as an initial estimate, and maybe just write down what we talked about, and then when we come back, we'll kind of see what you got out of that.
Sure. Now here's a question for you all. What did you do with the alien metal that you had gotten and salvaged from the...
I mean, it's probably still on the sled somewhere, but maybe under a blanket or something, or under those torn tents.
Yeah, Skinnock has it.
Okay, are you keeping that hidden?
I think I would, yes.
Okay, just making sure in case you wanted to do something with it.
Skinnock wants to experiment on it.
Fair enough. Alrighty then. In that case, yeah, no, that sounds about right. You can just, I don't suppose I can bother you to help me put it in the bag? No, you don't know what. I'm sorry. You've probably stretched enough as it is. I'll get some people. Hang on. He kind of gives like a whistle. Like, hey! You just hear a what? Like from like a couple buildings away. I need some help here. Fine. You just see like a half orc and a couple dwarves around the corners. Like, They're just like gawking at the size of these things, but like he's able to haggle down some prices for the labor of pulling this obscenely large chain anvil and the battle axe. But he's able to get them to do it. And with that, the axe and the anvil are now off your hands.
Well, that'll make traveling in the tundra easier.
It certainly will. We're slowing you down just a little bit.
Maybe this will be enough to afford some raw materials to make some fun stuff of our own.
That's true. I'll leave that to Skinner. And Ox. One of you two can put the 200... are we getting the 200 gold now, or are we going to wait until... Was that what we decided?
He needs to get it appraised first. He said he wouldn't be able to pay you right away.
Yep. So we've got it off our hands, and we've got like a scrap of paper that says he's giving us 200 gold.
Yeah, it's an IOU essentially. He's kind of writes it down. So write down, whoever is going to put it down, an IOU, 200 gold question mark from Taglios in Targos, whether in your notes or your inventory.
I'm putting it in my inventory. If somebody else wants to put it in their notes, that's fine.
I'll write it down too, just so there's a note of it. From Triglios. Ah, darn! I misspelled it. Don't look at me. Don't laugh at me. Shame. There you go. Triglio is not Terriglio.
Tartuglio.
Tartuglio.
Anyway,
All right.
are we
Anyway,
leaving town? Or do we have anything else we need to do? Anybody you want to prank, Skanuk?
Not yet.
Okay.
long con. I see. All right. So, with that, you all start to venture off towards the supposed location of this Sunblight Fortress. You get about right here.
Oh no, we're too close to Dugan's Hole.
I know. You can smell the stench from here. You get
And Joe's on the wind.
You get about to there before it starts to turn to nightfall. So I assume it's the usual pleasantries of Leoben's tiny hut and whatever else you might want to do for the night, if anyone has any suggestions.
Let's try and secure the stuff a bit better.
All right, what would you like?
Pretense.
All right. How would you like to secure them?
I guess tie them up underneath one of the sled boats and have the sled boats upside down, so they're sort of safe containers for stuff.
And they'll make some noise if someone tries to move them.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, that's easy enough. Takes a bit of a group effort to turn it over, but yeah, you're able to do so.
I think once we've got it turned over and everybody's tying things down, I'm gonna be playing with the Yeti kid with the ball.
Which he loves, by the way. This was a very good investment. He is tiring himself out and taking some pressure off you from watching him. And to you, Scales, you can see that the Yeti tyke he's starting to adjust a bit better. You can see he is showing less signs of anxiety and aggression. He's showing more signs of contentment. You can tell.
That's a good boy.
Indeed he is. Well, as good as he can be. But you lay down for the night. In the middle of the night, though, you hear some noises. The first one to probably hear them would probably be either Scales, due to his natural anxiety, or Meepo, honestly. You start to hear shuffling in the dark, and Morte kind of peeks up a little bit and squawks. You notice shapes, dark shapes, moving around your circle and moving around the boats as well. You can hear them trying to quietly move it, but they are clearly making a lot of noise, and you hear cursing, and you can hear it's in Orcish.
Everybody wake up. We got some orcs.
Let's do something about this.
Okay, violence.
All right, you all start to walk up, or all start to wake up, getting yourselves ready. But then you notice something else. You hear something. Like, what is that? In the snow. The orcs start muttering to themselves.
This is gonna get like trampled by a swarm of elks.
I would not be entirely opposed to having.
And the orcs start shouting like, as you see, cresting over a snowy bank, a familiar herd of elk, and one at the front, with a set of golden glowing horns, braying, as they begin to trample and scare off the orcs from your boat, trampling a few of them as they do. And the orcs start screaming and running away. The golden horn.
Much appreciated.
So what I rolled for the I'll tell you what I rolled for the encounters. All right, I rolled the orcs again. I was like, oh, okay, that'll be fun. So the D4 that I rolled a 6. So a 6 it's gonna be 2 encounters. I rolled 2 and a 4, so that would be afternoon, dusk, or midnight, early morning. I thought it would be really funny for you guys to see them again, and especially in this way. So that was why I rolled 2 different rolls. That was explaining why that happened. So, the golden horns looks in your direction, and I don't think can you actually see through the layman's hut? Did you choose that skin or no Scales?
You can always see out of it, but you can't always see into it.
So it really looks towards the boats, which you might recognize, and looks towards the hut, and can't see you, but it gives a nod.
I'm gonna poke my head out and wave.
A symbol of trust, it says in common, and it starts moving away.
Thank you very much.
All right, and they move on. And they see a couple orcs and start chasing them for sport. So of course, the orcs, obviously try and fight back, but they are very little match for a stampeding horde of elk. So, with that, the night passes, and you wake up. Which also means I get to roll again. Oh, wait, hold on. It's supposed to be a D8, not a D6. Hang on. Ow. Just a mess. Alright, let's see what we got here. Wait a second. Wow, I am the worst. I'm not, but I've seen making a lot of these gaffes lately. Okay, gotcha.
Well, it actually came pretty close either way.
Got a little close. What's this one?
1D2D0.
Ah, alright. Cool. Alright. So, you begin your journey making it around here. You come to a point where you have two choices. You can either go along this direction, or you go along this direction. Either way you imagine, you know that the spine has, like, they say, small valley in between, because this section of the spine is separate. This little mountain range right here.
Are you on the GM layer?
Am I? I don't know. I'm on the object layer.
Okay. Okay, now I see it.
Okay, so yes, obviously you could go this way, or you could go this way. Skunnock, since you've been around the Dale before, you know that there is a small forested valley that is between this little mountain range and the full meat of the spine, as it were. So there is a choice of, like, which way you want to go. One way is probably more forested and probably has maybe a little bit of a frozen river. The other one is probably more, I suppose, be more difficult to travel in terms of, like, it would be more rocky and a bit of a more difficult climb, but there'd probably be less likely to be anything in your path. So the choice is yours.
I think we need to also do some hunting, so we might as well. Like, my recommendation would be the longer path that has a bit more chance of running into some wildlife that isn't druidic.
Yeah,
That's my recommendation.
that's kind of what Meepo is more comfortable with anyway. In terms of, like, streams and stuff are something that specifically Eldath is in charge of, so. Seems like an Eldath sort of direction.
Alright. So then you choose the forested path, then.
Unless somebody has an objection.
I mean, I think it gives us. If we know that the Dwergar are coming from this place to get down into 10 towns, taking a path that would give them more conceal and cover makes us more likely to run into them, which gives us an opportunity to figure out what's going on as well.
That's true.
I mean, it was mentioned that they have some form of invisibility that they're using, but I highly doubt that they would use it for the entire trip down into town, you know?
I wonder if they even can use it for all that long.
That would be, I would say, go ahead and make history checks for anyone who wants to know that information. Okay. So the only one who would really know is Skunnock, unless Meepo. I'd say Meepo, because you're familiar with Dwarfish. You'd have advantage, Meepo. Go ahead and roll one more time. Okay, so Skunnock and Meepo, you would both know that the Duergar have this ability that they can, in fact, turn invisible. Now, from the stories that you've heard, from the details that you've heard of encounters with them, the longest one has been seen invisible, or, well, rather unseen.
Longest time that has been recorded.
Indeed, longest time that's been recorded is 1 hour.
So it's like, once they get out of the forest, they book it towards the village invisible, or once they get into the village proper, they turn invisible.
Yeah, as an extra little thing, just a little tidbit of knowledge, you know that most Duergar are bald. They can also, as you've seen, choose to become large once per day for about a minute.
Good match in battle for yours truly.
I agree.
But with a little help, I can go even bigger and, you know.
Outmatch him.
All right, so you decide to go the forested path, and you continue forward.
Until further notice.
All right.
I guess we're probably keeping an eye out for both Drogar and animals as we go.
Sure. In that case, do you wish to keep a stealthier pace, a normal pace, or do you wish to go at a fast pace? A fast pace will mean you won't be able to make perception checks will be a disadvantage, and stealth checks you won't be able to make stealth checks. Slow pace means you'll be able to make stealth checks. Normal pace so means you have disadvantage on stealth.
Yes.
What do you say?
Low, possibly?
Sorry, I misinterpreted that. Sorry. Going fast paced means you have a -5 penalty to passive wisdom perception. Normal is normal. Slow means you're able to use stealth.
I'd say either slow or normal.
Yeah.
Probably slow.
Yeah. Obviously, slow you'll move slower throughout the day, so you won't cover as much ground, but you'll be able to stealth.
We're already going the longer way.
True.
I like not running into anything that could see us as food.
All right. Very good. All right. So in that case, would you like to go at a slow pace then?
I guess that's the case.
All right. So if you want to, go ahead and make stealth checks for everyone.
Alas.
As you hear the sound, the roaring sound of water, frozen, like frigid waterfalls. It almost sounds like a dog snoring. Very curious natural phenomenon.
It's the sound of the water, the icy water breaking up.
Exactly. It's majestic. Foghorn playing in the background, just like it's like a nature documentary, you know? Alright, 22.
So majestic.
Okay.
There's
Alright.
a bear hibernating somewhere nearby.
I will say, you make it a good portion throughout the river, unnoticed. There are a couple things that you do see as you travel along the frozen river. You're mostly using the deciduous trees as cover. There's quite a few spaces where you can make yourself a bit scarce, in case you hear anything. The snowy banks as well make good cover against anything from the river, as it's piled high on both sides of it. Some of the things that you notice are that the birds are very quiet here. There's the occasional chirping, but given that the dale is, well, it's been 2 years since the sun has really showed itself, so it's not too uncommon for the species to be flying south for the winter. It does mean that it is very quiet. Makes stealth a little bit harder than you're used to, but you're able to keep yourselves concealed to the best of your knowledge. But there is a serenity to it, as you hear the cracking of the ice naturally from the river. You do notice that there's the occasional elk wandering around. You do see a bear at one point, and unless you wish to hunt it, You do see it going after the elk, and it is currently hunting it. The elk does seem to manage to gain the upper hand and manage to outrun the bear. So the bear kind of lumbers over to a tree and starts kind of scratching up against it.
What do we think? We want to get the meat?
You want it?
All right. What's your approach? You do have advantage because it currently does not notice that you're there.
Yes, let's try and just like hit it with range attacks while we can.
I was gonna
So-
say,
so-
I'm starting to realize that we don't have like an archer in the group.
Well,
I have a crossbow if you want to borrow it.
looks over
How
at Skanuk.
How dare you?
I mean,
You're not an archer.
I
you're a
consider
gunman.
the crossbowing to be a measure of invention and mechanical engineering rather than necessarily like a hunting tool in Skanuk's hands. You know, it's a weapon of war.
You are forgiven.
What are bears if not nature's war machine?
They really are. Autonomous killing machines.
It's the
Let's
nature's
see.
war. Man versus bear.
Oh, great Kolkar's back.
It is me,
Cool.
Kokar the bear. I've invaded Rhyme with the Frost Maiden, searching for honey.
Okay, enough of that.
Sorry.
I would,
Sorry, what were you gonna say, Caleb?
I was gonna suggest I could put it to sleep and we could just kill it in its sleep. It wouldn't feel anything.
What?
Like the Eldath approved humane way of hunting.
Go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep.
I mean, I don't think hunting is entirely frowned upon.
It's something now you discover that Eldaths are vegan.
We'd have known.
I
You-
think there are reasons not to hunt in certain circumstances, but this isn't one of them.
Sure, absolutely.
What is the range on a light crossbow? 320 feet of disadvantage.
And what's the range on
That's-
sleep too, Caleb?
Say what?
What's the range on sleep, Caleb? Currently, the bear's about 60 feet away.
90 feet.
All right, sleep would be a viable option.
I could use emboldening bond if we want it. Just
For what?
extra measure. I have multiple uses a day, and I haven't used it at all in the last
Man, these
week or so.
these bear growling sound effects you've got are really realistic.
What can I say? I'm only the best at gathering only the finest sound effects. All homegrown.
Look, I'm just gonna straight up say this. I have had a cat in my arms. He did not want to leave my arms for the majority of this session, and that is why I have not been super interactive with things. It's because of the difficulty of actually interacting with the computer. Because
alright.
cat.
That's okay.
So dog snoring in the background, I completely understand.
Thank you.
It is the pet's desire to be involved with the stuff. Now he's giving me a dirty look from his seat on my table for mentioning that this happened. He's like,
How dare you
talk
speak
about
of me this
that.
manner?
How dare you.
So,
I'm gonna use emboldening bond just out of
What? Sleep works off of hit points, right? How many hit points the
Right.
thing has left?
Correct.
So, do you want me to shoot it first to whittle it down a bit, and then it'll be more susceptible?
No. No, not really.
Okay.
All right. So in that case,
I'll
Skanuk.
put this on the other three on Skanuk scales and hawks.
So in this case, are you going to shoot it first, Skanuk, and then have?
Oh, I've been asked. I've been asked not to.
All right.
Just
So then, Scales, would you like to cast sleep?
I will. I'll do a little bit of upcasting.
All right. Show me what you got. Let's see what you got. Hang on, double check on. What is the... Which health does this actually have?
Wow,
That's
that's a.
I think, yeah, you definitely... You watch as the bear is like scraping up against the tree, and you just hear... Boom, just falls face first in the snow.
Can't tell if that's you or if
That
that's your
was
dog.
me that time.
It sounded like you just moved the microphone next to the dog. I couldn't tell.
No, that was actually me. So, but yes, he is asleep. So that means you may do whatever you wish now.
Hawks, you'd probably be the best candidate for this. Do it quick. We don't have much time before he wakes up again.
All right. Should I try to stack as much as I can into this?
Muerte glowers behind you.
Well, we know the maximum that its health is how much he rolled with his sleep. So,
Yeah, I need to try and stack as much as I can into this, I think. So what I'm going to do is I will spend a giant smite to go big,
All right.
because I have plenty of uses of that. And I guess I will make my attacks.
Any attack that hits it is a critical hit while it's unconscious.
Yee.
Right. And even after it wakes up from the first hit, it'll be prone, so I'll still have advantage on the second.
Correct.
So,
All right.
so that is crit. So that's the 8 slashing from the initial hit, and then I'll have an additional d8 for the crit. And then I will have 2d4 from the, or 2d6 from the giant smite, which did not roll super well for the first one.
All right.
That's okay. And then I will swing at it again with advantage.
All right.
That will unfortunately only do the 8. I'm gonna be dumb and I'm gonna action surge and just
Okay.
lay into this thing.
Okay. Okay. That's... Okay, with the action surge, you managed to get the amount that you needed to take it down. In a full showing the showing the full finesse of the 5e fighter. You take down a bear in 6 seconds, which honestly, by all rights, is a friggin' impressive feat. You slash and hack away at this bear, and it is not able to resist as it falls on its back. And you slice the belly. It is dead.
You know, I'm just realizing I should have used the Bloodfang Javelin because it has a whole different die added. My mind just went to the battle axe as like an executing strike sort of thing.
Right, yeah.
But yes, either way it worked.
All right, so now there is plenty of meat, bear meat to be had. Normally, bear meat is but you know what? You're kobolds. You can eat many things.
I've eaten worse.
You certainly have. You certainly have. All right. Whoever's going to make a survival check for me, please.
or carving it up.
I assume.
Okay.
I have bad survival, so
Let me look.
instead of this, if possible.
Yeah, I have a +2, which...
Survival.
Do I get anything? No, I don't get anything.
17. Okay. So obviously the meat is the easiest part. Even if you failed the roll, you would still at least get the meat. So you're gonna get, let's see here. You're gonna get 8 bear rations.
I'll hand those out among the others. I have the 7 rations we got from the other guy, so.
Indeed. You also get 11 bear teeth. What's it do?
Ooh, cracky necklace.
Get 10 bear claws. And you get the hide.
I will give the claws and the hide to Skanak, who will probably use it better than I.
And the hide is quite intact. That takes you all probably about an hour total for that.
I take the teeth as well.
Yes, you salt a little bit of the meat, make sure it keeps. Muerte, of course, wants one immediately. She requires her share of the spoils. She's a growing
Might as
girl.
well. Is she? That's concerning thought, though.
Of course. She doesn't need to eat meat, but she is an opportunistic omnivore.
He enjoys it.
She enjoys it. She enjoys the taste. So really, you get you get 7 rations. But you know, this is part of the parcel of like having animals. You do gotta feed them.
Yep.
Of course, and okay, that's what you get from the bear. Pretty good haul overall. All right, it's about around this time. It's not quite nightfall yet. I'd say around this time it is about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, pretty much like mid-afternoon.
Are we continuing on then, after we've finished carving this up?
Well,
I could use an opportunity to replenish my giant smite and watch it surge.
Sure, in that case, a short rest then.
Short rest. Bear meat. Everything a kobold needs.
Very good.
Freshly harvested blanket.
Might need a bit more drying up before it can be used as a blanket. But yeah.
Well, when you're a scaled cave-dwelling creature, I guess with the cold, no, but when you're a scaled cave-dwelling creature, sometimes a little bit of moisture doesn't hurt. It's just like home.
Enough of that. Okay.
Okay. Oh, ow. Hit my microphone. Alright, so. You continue on. For the next couple hours, the dusk comes forth, getting even darker from the normal dim light that stretches across the vale. And so you find a nice little glen that'll be perfect for setting up camp in. But as you're making your way around, thanks to your previous stealth checks, I'm gonna continue counting them just for the overall travel. You do manage to escape the eye of 2 crag cats that have been prowling around. It seems their attention is focused on the leftovers of the bear carcass, getting some of the leftover scraps and bones. And so you manage to skip an encounter from your hunt with the bear. And so you spend another night. And then you wake up. Thankfully, the past few nights have been mostly peaceful, save for last night with the pleasant surprise. Seemingly with your tiny hut, it certainly keeps out many of the unwanted creatures of the night. But you travel onward. And eventually, actually you'll be this way, you begin to see it. Sunblight Fortress. It stands 300 feet of gray stone, flat, carved against the mountain, almost seemingly jutting from it slightly. You notice something immediately about the fortress as you're wandering towards it. You notice that at the very top, there are 4 sets of black spaces where you assume windows would be. But in the direct center of the fortress, on the third, you assume is the 3rd floor, you see a giant metal door. Probably around, I'd say, 20 or so feet wide from each individual frame. And as you're making your way towards the fortress, let's see here, double checking something, if you would notice this. Let's see here. Ah, okay, you would notice it then. Carved high in the wall, you see dozens and dozens of rows of arrow slits with lights burning behind them. As you get closer from this to this gargantuan fortress, you begin to hear sounds of clanking and hissing, even from this distance. You're probably around, I'd say you're 500 feet away. You're kind of keeping a pace along like the mountain, kind of sidling alongside it. You can hear just the clanking and hissing of steam and metal. And you see, burning out from the lower portion of the fortress, you see smoke billowing out, some from the windows as well. Something big is happening here. You can feel it. How do you approach? I will ask.
He's sneaky like.
If we need to, I can always cast invisibility on someone.
Probably
Ox
Used
is
to,
not the
huh?
stealthiest creature.
That would help you then.
That puts me to normal rather than advantage because I'm at disadvantage for my chainmail.
Well, it would help then. Do we want it?
Can you spare the spell slot?
It's not a spell slot. I can do it once per day.
Oh, well, in that case, hit me with that invisibility.
a bardic inspiration as well for Hawks from Scales.
And if we need to, I can always bond everyone. Well, not everyone.
Wow.
Keep someone.
Yeah, that actually worked really well. So I'm gonna roll again just to make the joke of what disadvantage would have done, and yeah, it's probably a good thing.
Oh, Meepo.
Uh-huh.
Oh, Meepo.
Let's roll 1d. What is it? 4?
Well, a 1 is an automatic failure on that, but yeah.
I know, but still. It's something.
True. All right, and the rest of you, Scales and Skinook.
And I will put the emboldening bond on myself, Hawks, and Skinook.
Okay. Okay. Then Skinook.
Here's where you get a natural 20
Natural 20, come
and
on.
a 4 on your d4.
Balance it
We'll
out.
just
Balance the force.
balance the force. I think I.
You are my brother, Anakin! Sorry.
I have a feat for this. Okay, this normal, not this.
Did we long rest after the bear or short rest?
You long rested. There was a short rest and then a long rest.
I did roll the 4. I rolled one of those things. Was it the right one?
You
It
did.
was something.
You did. Very good. That was a very good thing you did. So 16, 21, a 19, and a natural
6 with a natural 1.
1. 2.
And the 19 can add a d4 to it if he wants.
Indeed. So that's 2 failures with a natural 1, but 3 successes. Very good.
Oh.
So you make your way to the fortress, going as quietly as you can. I'm going to ask, do you leave Muerte, Bean, and the Tyke behind to further?
For sure, being in the Tyke would be a good idea to leave them behind, but I don't know what everybody thinks about Muerte coming with us or being left behind.
I'm a little worried what you do.
Oh, you know what she would do. The question is when and
To
if
who?
it's appropriate.
To
And to who?
when and to what would she?
You already know the answer to one of those questions.
maybe she could go and hunt, enjoy herself a little while in the surrounding area.
Just let her roam free.
Work
Sounds
of
dangerous as
chaos, more terrible than anything the Dwergar can come up with. Loose into the valley. I actually have some potential to do some animal handling if need be, in terms of corralling her and getting her doing stuff that we want her to be doing.
She does have a saddle. That was part of the deal when you got her.
Do we dare?
Who would ride her in this instance, though? Because I don't think I could go large while being on top of her.
Unless it's gonna cast enlarge on her to make her huge. I don't think she'd fit in there, but you know,
That's a terrifying thought.
it's something to think about.
I think it would be better to have someone who could guard Bean and the Yeti Tyke. The question just is, can we get her to have that as the mindset?
Pit Scales can talk to her, can he? What does she say anyway? I've always kind of wondered.
Oh,
Now we're asking the real questions.
a lot of it is just some vulgarity towards me. I guess she has some resentment towards me because I'm not brave like someone she keeps referring to.
That would be savage, probably.
Kind of sad, honestly. No, I feel bad. I was suddenly my feelings into violence.
Murte just stares. Her feathers ruffle slightly.
I'd suggest you let Muerte know that she'll be left here, but if she sees anything that's not one of us approach, she's welcome to commit acts of violence on it.
Okay. So I activate speak with animals and I tell her,
Until further notice.
okay, Muerte, we're gonna move on ahead. You're gonna stay here and be with the bush and the pike, and if anything that approaches that isn't us comes your way, you can enact violence on them.
Make a persuasion check, Scales. Or animal handling, your choice, whichever's better. In subtitles. Acceptable. The bloodlust will be sated for now.
Well, we'll be back soon. I hope.
In subtitles. Do not be long.
Okay, guys, let's go before we upset her anymore.
As you're walking away, what's your passive perceptions?
15.
Okay. I'd say... I don't think Muerte understands the concept of whispering or muttering under breath. But as you're walking away, you would hear a faint, "Do not die."
Oh.
And that is what you hear. But you continue walking. And so you do. You begin your ascent to the fortress. There is in fact a path along the mountainside that you can take. Thankfully, because of your earlier rolls, you managed to cover yourself in a bit of the snow and sidle along the way. It does take a little bit longer, but you sidle in such a way that you could mask yourself from one of the arrow slits that seems to be nearby the door. But there is something that happens as you get close. From high above comes a loud grinding noise as large sheets of ice break off the fortress walls and tumble down the mountainside. Suddenly, great doors of ice, previously hidden under the snow, stand open more than 300 feet above you. A terrible clanking and creaking sound echoes from the hole. You hear a terrible, almost draconic sounding roar coming from inside. And then suddenly, a black, shining metallic claw a second. And then a face appears on a long serpentine, segmented, metallic neck. The face almost seems like that of a knight's visor, with a terrible, incandescent yellow glow coming from inside the creature's heart and face. Its eyes glow with that bright golden light as it lets out another terrible roar, as it hurls itself into the air with that mighty tearing some of the stone away. It glides away and then heads to the northwest, to the direction of 10 Towns.
Oops. Maybe there's a control switch in there?
We're not going to be able to chase that thing.
No, we're not.
How fast is it going?
It's going quite fast. It seems that Hawks' assumption is right. You definitely wouldn't be able to catch up to it on foot. And perhaps maybe only barely with Muerte. You might be able to maybe slightly keep up pace, but you definitely wouldn't be able to fight it. It would be too fast for that.
They may be controlling it from inside here, so if we're able to, maybe we could destroy something in there to stop it.
Do you think our Veatrace will notice another dragon flying around?
Eventually, probably.
Maybe we'll get lucky and the bits will kill each other.
That'd be good. Get rid of both problems.
Alright, well, for the time being, I guess we should, just assume that everyone will duck and cover and, maybe figure out how to stop it from inside.
Yeah, if we can't catch up to it, I mean, can we tell which town do you think it's even going for?
I'd say, based on the direction, I suppose just make a history check, I suppose, if anyone wants to. Or perception, whichever's higher.
Oh, I guess my perception would have been higher, but that's okay. Oh, actually, you know what? I still have that D8.
Indian
I might
Golden
as well-
Bond.
Oh, that's true as well. I might as well use them up, because that D8 only lasts...
Okay, that's a 15 then from the 10.
It would be a 17 if I was using my perception instead of my history.
Okay, in that case, Skinnock,
18 on mine.
Meepo, and Hawks. It's heading to Duggan's Hole first.
Oh, well, that's alright then.
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
we can let that one go.
Well, it's not alright, but at least there are fewer people there. Hopefully it won't kill too many people before we can...
And nothing of value was lost. Ah, adventurers. But it
Doesn't,
seems.
like-
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I'm just wondering if there's even part of me wants to oh, can I make a check to determine if it would have a control mechanism? But it's like flying away from me hundreds of feet in the air.
Yeah, it's like wait, it's like 250 feet up right
Who
now.
knows? For all I know, it's an actual. For all I know, it's an actual dragon in armor.
Like
Actually,
Well, we thought they were making something, right?
yeah.
yeah.
250 feet. It's in crossbow range. If you guys want to try and piss it off and get it to come down here.
I'd much rather try to deactivate it than try to fight it.
Yeah, I guess if we can't catch it, then trying to shut it off from the source is our best bet.
And if there's nothing to shut it off from inside, it'll probably come back anyway.
Let's hope there's still towns.
At the very least, as you all discuss and consider, it definitely seems time is of the essence here.
Wait, do any of us have sending?
I do. I'll just
be like-
send to the guy in Duggan's Hole, say, hey, you'd better hide away because there's a big dragon coming straight for you. And it's not a Beatrice.
Wait,
That's okay. Yeah,
who
either
are
way-
you sending that to?
The guy that we got that we were fishing next to.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know who he is. Just that guy.
Hold on. Hang on.
I mean, do we want to send it to him, or do we want to send it to the speaker in Prince Shander or something?
Did we ever meet the speaker in Duggan's Hole?
No.
We did not spend a lot of time there because
No.
it really was.
I'm just sending it to somebody there who can start spreading the word.
You get a response back. The thunder, is that you? That's all you get.
That's all he gets.
That's all
I warned him.
That's all you get. They're not very smart.
No, they're not.
Do we know anyone in Prince Shander?
Torg?
If you want, I can use another spell slot.
I've got a scroll of it, or a
Okay.
totem of spell. No, it's animal messenger, so it's probably not as useful. Never mind. Maybe those have to do their best. I don't know. I'll leave it up to you. I wash my hands of to console.
I've done my duty. I've warned them. I used a 3rd level spell slot to do it.
Fair enough. Let's see here. Where would you guys be at the moment?
We're right next to the Sunblight Fortress.
I know. I'm just trying to... Okay, it's that level. Alright. Have to adjust.
The Great Darkness.
The Great Darkness. You're in the bottom left corner.
Okay. This is workable.
Yeah, sorry, it's not... Roll20 was fighting with me quite a lot on this map regarding grids, so it will be slightly askew, so I hope it's not too much of an issue. I'm sorry.
That should be fine. You should see some of what I've had to do for Slime Cave.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Alright.
11:30 your time.
It is. How are y'all feeling? You want to cut out here? Feel it's a good time?
I mean, I feel like we've got a whole big dungeon crawl to do. Right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what
think
it's looking
that's-
like.
Probably the case.
Hmm.
I mean, we could knock on the door and see if there's anybody home.
I will say, as you're walking up, you're stealthed enough and you can at least see there is an arrow slit that is right next to the door.
Well, Hawks should still be invisible for a little bit,
Yeah, you
I
can
think.
See, there's about a 10-foot wide stone set of doors right here.
How long is that?
Peek in through the arrow
An hour.
slit.
Sure thing. If you want, go ahead and make. This will require a separate stealth check.
Well, Hawks is invisible, so he still has advantage, so it's normal.
He does.
And he still has Bardic Inspiration in case he wants to use it.
No, he used that.
No, he
He
didn't.
used on the history check for seeing which direction the
Yeah.
dragon would go. So,
But he
Hawks,
does have Emboldening Bond.
He does.
Yes.
Have at it, Hawks. Show them how stealthy you can be. Okay, that's not bad. That's not bad. at all.
That's not bad at all. 19.
19. All right.
14. 17.
You kind of peek around the corner, step back in. You see, right through that arrow slit, is a Duergar holding a crossbow, kind of like keeping an eye out. He's got a big, bushy gray beard, and it's slightly, kind of slicked down across the chest, completely bald, gray white eyes, just kind of like keeping a glance out. Actually, you know what? I'll reveal him since you can see him. 1 second. I said 1 second, but the reveal tool continues to be finicky with me. As it always is. Roll 20. There you go. There he is.
Hooray.
You can see a little... Actually, I'd say... You can see a little bit into the hallway. There's clearly a larger hallway behind him as well, or at least probably a large hall. You can hear the clanging of chains and like metal being grinded along something. It's clearly carrying something very heavy as you hear it's repeated several times over, and it's in a consistent motion.
I should be able to invisibly get closer to the slit, right?
You can, yeah. If you keep in mind, if you do, you're invisible, so he wouldn't see you. So let's see here. Just beware of the cliff facing downward. But yes, you can peek up right there. Yeah, right about there. It's kind of finicky, but yeah. All right, so you're trying to get a better look inside.
Yeah, I'm trying to peek around.
All right. As you get a better look inside, he is kind of blocking the way a little bit, but you're at least able to get enough of a look. So let's see. This is room. Let's see, which room is this? Ah, yes. Okay. So now that you're getting a better look at this room, the room itself is heated and illuminated by braziers of glowing hot coals. Visible on the west wall, which you are looking through, is an arrow slit. You also notice next to the Duergar is an iron lever and a heavy iron winch. The floor to ceiling, you can see, there's an iron cage in the middle of a room. It looks like you can now notice what the groaning and clanging were coming from. It seems to be an elevator shaft, and you can see elevators like moving up and down through this constant motion by this strange mechanism. To the far right of the room is a double door. Air seems to enter this room through the 4 arrow slits to the south wall as well.
Oh.
Yeah, you don't get a good enough look because of the angle. You don't see like too much of like what's up here, but you see the 2 doors on this side, this way over here. I'll reveal those.
It seems like his ability to pull that lever is probably going to, like, seal the door. Would be my guess.
You do notice, make an insight check, Hawks, since you're right there. You do get a good look of his expressions and his shifts in demeanor over time. 19. As you're kind of observing him, as you're kind of taking a look at him every once in a while as you're scanning the room, you notice he seems to be nervous about something. He's kind of like, he kind of takes something out, like a small flask and a small pendant, and kind of twiddles in his fingers, and it has the icon of a woman who's very elderly, kind of like a tight bundled bit of hair. And she kind of looks at the image, the icon for a second, kind of like a little bit of bead of sweat drops, and kind of like nervously puts it back in his coat. He definitely seems nervous about whatever it is, but you don't know why, obviously. Occasionally he looks over his shoulders if he expects someone to be there. Almost as if it seems like a guilty act in some way.
This door,
Yes.
does it look like there's a way... Does it look like there's, like, a gate that'll come down on it or something? Or is it just...
No, it seems just like a stone door. You don't see any signs of like any sort of mechanism that you can like look that would fall down in front of it. It's just a solid set of 10-foot by 10-foot stone doors.
From what I can see in the room, does that lever maybe control the elevator?
The lever itself does not seem to control the elevator, as you can tell. There is the winch does seem to, however.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, you can tell this because there's a chain that connects to that from there.
Alright. I guess I'll sneak my way back and report what I've seen to the rest of the group. There's a shifty-looking guard right past that arrow slit. Looks like a pretty nervous fella. There's an elevator in that room. It looks like he's in control of it through a winch. And he's got a lever that does I don't know what. Might open the front door, it might seal it. It's hard to say.
Which way was the lever facing?
It's on this wall next to him, right?
Yes, correct. Right next to him. It seems like it's basically within arm's reach, essentially. Like, you could just, like, reach over and grab it as, like, a quick, like, reaction.
Well, how about we try to sneak past him for now? I don't really like the idea of him being able to shoot at us through that arrow slit and us having to get right up there to shoot at him. But
Well, I could block off the arrow slit.
I don't know.
I think he'd probably raise an alarm, though. Hey,
You
Scales, do you happen to be able to see him to use sleep?
Um. No, just a point within range.
That might be our in.
Alright. Let's try.
Alright, go ahead and, if you're gonna do that, go ahead and roll those dice.
Oh, he can't be tougher than a bear.
just the buffest Duergar you've ever seen, like, "Hurr!"
I mean, he could be.
It's actually not one of this.
That's why I guard the front gate.
Hokar.
I am the front gate.
That's what they call him.
They call
What do you want?
they call
I
me
don't think
Stone
this-
Door Storins. 41. Okay. Sure enough, Hawks, you watch as you kind of like walk over. You see his head nod. Kind of like leans over, lurching forward. He is asleep.
Let's try the door.
All right, you got about a minute, correct?
Yeah, 1 minute.
All right. So, you try and open the door. It's not budging.
Can I tell why? Is it locked or is it like barred?
So now that you're getting a better look at the doors, go ahead and make an investigation or perception check, your choice.
13.
13. If there's any
can I-
sort of mechanism,
Well,
it's definitely not out front. It has to be within. It's either barbed from the inside or, like whatever Hawks' initial assumptions were, it's definitely on the inside, not the outside.
If he's asleep, can I reach through the arrow slit and try and grab at that lever?
Because of your small size, well, it's an arrow slit. It's quite small. It's gonna be a bit difficult.
My arms might be a little thinner.
Because it is an arrow slit, yeah. Even if with your arm, yeah. Hawk's probably not. Meepo might have a chance. Meepo,
Anybody got any spells that could reach things?
I don't exactly have a spell for that, but I do have a hand axe if you want to use it to hook around the thing and pull it down.
I'll try that. The best use for a hand axe.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm going to attempt. What should I do? Sleight of hand?
okay, go make a sleight of hand check.
Okay.
Do I not have Mage Hand? Do Artificers get Mage Hand?
I think they can.
They might be.
It might be a subclass spell. What level is Mage Hand?
It's a cantrip.
It's a cantrip.
Oh,
16.
we do get Mage Hand. I really should get around to that.
16 is quite good. Because of your tiny little kobold arms, your little noodle arms, Meepo, and with a little bit of help from the axe, you're able to jiggle just the latch just slightly, and then you hook it around the lever, you pull down, ka-tunk. You hear a ka-tunk, ka-tunk, and then as the doors open.
There you go.
How loud was that?
Not about as loud as stone scraping would be. There is some noise, but you do notice that the noise from the inside, the clanking and like the metallic sounds are kind of drowning it out a little bit, so you don't think it's actually that loud in comparison.
Oh, I could also have added my emboldening bond, but I didn't need to guess.
Alright, so you make your way inside. So what you see, beyond the doors are an empty room with a narrow opening at the far end. But before you step in, you notice there is an arrow slit on this wall right here. I'll mark that with orange. Eldath is a very unimpressive room. You assume it to be a vestibule of some kind.
Let's stealth on in then. Dun 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 dun
Dun dun dun dun. Alright, I assume you're trying to stealth?
dun. Yes.
Now keep in mind, there's only so much you can stealth. Walking to the center of the room, you will be seen from whoever is behind the arrow slit. You'll either have to... You probably have to sight along this wall over here. And it's like go under the slit.
So, come to think of it, I've been really hesitant to use spells for this, but I think I am going to cast invisibility on myself.
Okay. You still have invisibility. Oh, wait, no, 3. Oh, that's right, because it's straight. Darn.
Yeah.
Okay. That's gonna
That is going to be going with advantage.
Alright, give me that advantage stealth. Oh, thank goodness. That'll probably help you here. Oh, no, that's sleight of hand. Sleight of hand, but it's still... it's a natural 20, so it would have succeeded no matter what.
Oh, whoops, sorry.
That's okay. Because it's a natural 20, I'm not going to waste that. I'm not going to be a dick.
If it helps, they're the same bonus.
Right, like I said, I'm not going to be a dick and waste that nat 20. I'm not going to do that.
No, it's actually the 12.
Yes! Suffer! Okay. So. Dun 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 dun.
Maybe it just kind of rolls underneath the arrow slot.
While I'm passing it, can I take a peek in? See what I see?
Because of your nat 20, you may. You kind of like Scooby-Doo rise above the slit. It's that violent sound. You do see, in fact, there is a female Duergar. It's on the other side. The token does not show female, but it is a female Duergar. You notice that this room has a couple tables inside, and there's a few stone doors as well, leading to small-sized rooms. There are flickering lights inside. You can see the stone doors have like little windows inside that you can kind of peek inside, and you hear some snores inside. But this door guard right here is like the other one, keeping an eye out. But this one appears to be a bit sterner, and is seemingly unfazed by anything. That's what you see, though. Yeah, it appears to be a barracks of some kind, you think. But there is something you notice as you're walking in. The whole entirety of this gray stone-floored building is this smoky haze that seems to just cover the interior here. The further in you go, but it's not so bad here because the door is open and some wind is flowing in, but the further in you go, some perception checks this will be like lightly obscured. So there'll be disadvantage on perception checks. And you're kind of well, you're being stealthy, so you're not like openly like coughing, but you're like kind of like, you know, coughing into your hand, trying to be as quiet as possible. But you gather staying in here, like resting, might not be as effective.
Let's keep on. I'm gonna try and pass on the information that it's a barracks covertly. There might be a bunch of guys in there.
All right, I'm gonna move the camera a little bit here. It's great because I have two mice now, so that's nice.
Oh,
Yay.
double mouse.
Yeah, double mouse. All right, so 2 hallways. One leading to the left, one leading to the right.
Is there a door there?
There is no door there. It just leads to a room. Oh, these are... Reveal, please. Reveal! Why does... There we go. Peek around the corner. That's as much as you can see from peeking around the corner. See a couple doors like what Skinnock saw.
This here isn't a door.
It is not a door, it's just a wall.
Okay.
You can see, however, the right hallway leads to another hallway. The hallway continues down this way, but then this little intersection juts off to the north and then the south. You see a set of double doors here to the south.
Well, if this way goes to this room that we've seen,
Probably
and this other way
does.
goes to this room that we've seen. What about this room?
That room is unknown, but the other two you can definitely infer is most likely.
If we can get into this room and then close the door back up again, we might be able to be in here for longer before he sounds an alarm.
You'll have to be a bit quick because the spell it's coming
About
upon
up.
a minute. It's about up,
Yeah.
so you'll have to be quick about it.
Do we want to? Or do we want to just let him...
Sure, let's do it.
Okay, I say the 2 invisible people try it,
All right,
just in
guys.
case he does wake up
Is there
after.
anything down the rest of this hallway, by the way, while we're sneaking
Oh
in?
yeah, sure. The entirety of this is dim light, but because you're kobolds, and despite
It
the
works
hazy smoke, you
right.
can at least see. It's just certain details are fuzzy. The hallway stretches ridiculously far. If you can see how far down that goes.
Ooh. Hallway.
Very long hallway. There are 2 intersections, and then at the very end of the hallway, there's a set of double doors, all of stone. Something that you're noticing as you're walking through, there is no artistry in this architecture. It is all plain and gray, as the stone itself. Very boring looking.
Alright, so I guess we want to try to push this door open.
All right. That one you can at least attempt to push open. Because of the noise, you don't have to worry too much about opening them. So you go on inside. And you notice that you can see he is starting to nod his head back up, so you'll need to be quick about this. What are you going to do?
I am going to take the blunt side of my battle axe and try to club him with it and KO him.
All right, so this will be with advantage, and if you hit, it's a crit. Because you just barely managed to get him before the spell ended.
Maybe the javelin?
Whack him
Maybe the
upside the head with
javelin.
the javelin, like a
You,
bat.
you think for a second, no, not again. This time, I bring out the big gun.
I
Ooh.
rolled a crit anyway.
Oh. Okay.
So
Skinnock, are you helping?
We'll technically get a second bop against him too with the
You
attack
will.
action.
You will, yeah.
Yeah, Snuck would try to get a bop
23.
in. I guess just clunk the end of his hand axe down on his head.
All right, go ahead and roll. He's still technically prone, so you have advantage. A 12 will not hit, though, but thankfully, your help was not needed in this case, Skinnock, as Hawks manages to bonk him. And you're going for unconscious, or you're going to kill?
I'm going for unconscious.
Okay. You clonk him on the back of the head, and he's like, "Oh!" And he kind of falls into the same position he was in before, but this time there's a bit more limpness. But thankfully, unconscious kind.
This is like Punch and Judy puppets.
And I will flick the lever up to close the door again.
All right, and it seems like you were correct. Whoosh. The door recloses.
Let's be systematic about this and
Your invisibility would be gone though.
It would be.
shit, it would be. Alright. I shouldn't have attacked. Shouldn't have bothered. Okay.
So,
Okay.
where are you heading from here?
What can I see from here?
You can
Down this
see.
way. Is it just a door?
You see another set of double doors leading into a room. Why does this happen? I want to reveal. There we go. Set of double doors, like below.
But we don't know what's back there.
Correct. To be fair, you don't hear anything from behind there.
We'll eventually get caught, but what do we want to do first? Do we want to just explore what we can and see whether there are any open doors?
I think they're gonna do interior doors for a lot of this. Personally. I think we should be systematic and not leave too many unknowns at our back.
That's true.
The Duergar snores almost sound dog-like for a minute. You think to yourselves, man, it's a strange coincidence. A lot of dog sounds today. What a strange morning. Strange couple nights. Going towards that door up there, Skinnock?
That would be my vote.
Skinnock peek in here.
Alright. You go ahead and open the door. And there is a very large table on the inside of this room. It appears to be, from what you can tell, a rectangular room with two sets of double doors, one to the north, and of course, on your side, a brazier of glowing hot coals stands in each corner that you can see. There is a stone table in the center. Hang on, double check something here. Do I have the correct... Hang on here. Did I get this mixed up? No, I did not. I'm fine. You do notice the set of double doors to the north, however, is ajar, which does mean you get to see into the next part of the room. Which appears to be a personal quarters of some kind. But as opposed to normal quarters, there is a full-on forge. Or at least a small kind of smelter on the inside. Clearly for more personal work. And there is a soot and grease-stained bed on the northeastern side. In a kind of a shallow niche above the bed, there is a bas relief of a giant scowling Duergar clenching its teeth. And at the foot of the bed is a flat-topped iron trunk sealed with a bulky padlock, and a stone door set in the western wall. What's noticeable is that on this table, in this room, there is a map scrawled out. And it's familiar. You've seen... The designs are familiar to you, Meepo. Just from a distance, you can tell automatically. That's a map of 10 towns. Just even from the distance, you can tell.
You think we should go in there and grab that map?
I think that we should, yeah. I'll poke
They
my
don't
head
have a
in.
map.
Yeah. So then what is this like thing? Is this a table or is it the brazier?
This is the brazier right here. Sorry.
Okay. Oh, let's go and investigate that.
And there's a double door here that's open.
There is. I messed up when I was making the map.
That's alright.
That was my bad.
Is this doorway open here
Grab the
inside?
map.
It is not
Hold
open.
up.
It is closed. But it is a set of doors. It seems to be like a small closet door. What you can tell, very small. So the map, I get to now show you, or at least return to an older map, but with some modifications. One moment. If you would casually observe.
Oh,
What you see before you is a map of 10 towns. But what's noticeable about this map is that there are indications and lines being drawn from town to town. Seems in a definitely directional for sure. Starting at Duggan's Hole, leaning around towards Goodmead, East Haven, Cairdineval, Cairconnig, to Tourmaline, Lonelywood, Bremen, then Targos, and then finally Bryn Shander, before returning to Sunblight.
The first place on that list that we've been to is Duggan's Hole. The second place is Tourmaline, which is halfway through. So I can't warn anybody in the first half of it.
Well, to be fair, we've already written off Dugan's Hole. Really, it just doesn't really matter.
so it's not. It doesn't look like the dragon is going to come back until after it's hit everything.
Right.
You do notice, with your eyes of the Runekeeper, Hawks,
Indeed.
there are indications and markings, like written on the map in Dwarvish.
Which I could also read.
Which you can also read, Repo. And now I get to pull up. You do realize that this is in fact a flight plan as part of the writings. This is where you assume the dragon will fly. In order. But also, there are indications and markings on the maps of how long it's assumed that the dragon will take to get to each place.
That's going to be helpful.
Let's see here.
My old foe.
Yeah, these are more estimations than anything, but it'll probably be helpful. Alright, here. I'm going to paste that. Hang on. No, that is not what I wanted.
If this route takes more than a day, then there's going to be some weirdness with Frost Maiden taking flight at night and potentially crossing paths with this thing.
They just collide.
We should
Frost Maiden and Beatrice and this dragon all have a big fight, and we just watch with popcorn.
2
Oh, yeah.
hours, 1.5.
Cookies.
It is not going to be a full day. No. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay,
I'm
move
gonna make a handout actually, because it's kind of scattered in this chat. So I'm gonna hang on.
Although, what time is it when
5,
the dragon left?
6, 7,
The
8.
time when the dragon left, early-ish morning. I'd say it's around 8 o'clock in the morning.
So this is 15 and a half hours. So it will not be in the sky when.
Also, we have 7 hours until it hits Tourmaline, which should be the first place we.
Ah, there we go. I made a handout for easier viewing.
Okay.
So the other question is, though, this is the flight plan, but it's not going to instantly destroy each of these cities. Does they have any estimate of how long it would take to actually?
That it does not.
So, 15 and a half hours minimum. And
Beautiful, though.
if anyone puts up any fight, that'll buy us additional time. However, again, it's really going after the half of the map that we haven't touched. So
Yeah.
it's
Peace.
feel a little bit bad for not visiting these places now.
Right, but if we had, then we'd never have even gotten to this point, probably.
Yeah.
There's so much going on.
Though, with all this information at your disposal, and the wondering of how all this is going to come into play, and the ticking of the clock, I'm going to end the
We have
session
2
there
hours
for
to
tonight.
beat it.
I will end the session there for tonight, though.
Alright.
All right. If you've been watching, thank you so much, and I hope you all have enjoyed it. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.